Hello, welcome to Big Air Sports. In case you wondered what my shop looks like, so here's a little peek into my world. So we've got a canopy under construction here. So I separate each individual cell with these clips, laundry hanger. Tony Urigala taught me that one. And so I've got a canopy hanging up here that's getting ready for lines. And so this is kind of the minimum space that I can do it, but it's enough. It's enough, and I'm thankful that after, good God, like 3 decades, is it? I'm still able to provide parachutes for you. So if you're interested in getting a canopy, give me a buzz. Reach out through Facebook and email and phone and text. There's lots of ways to get me. This is one of my babies. This one I call Speedy Gonzalez. It's the bar tacker, high speed. And of course you've got over here Judy, and this one is Frida. Yeah, I've had these machines for a long, long time. They've been building canopies for like 40 years or so. I've had them for about a quarter of a century, and I'm sure that they will continue to build parachutes for a very long time. So I hope you all have a very great day, and glad I got to show you my shop.
What is highly virtuous is a virtue that is not conscious of itself as virtue. The moment it's conscious of itself as such, you see, it fails. So in this way, we love to see a child dancing all by itself, lost in the dance and not performing for an audience. We say, oh, if only I could dance like that. If only I could become like a child again, innocent. But then soon we know, when parents notice how beautifully a child dances, and they all approve of it and say to this child, dance for us, the child begins to lose this power. And it puts on airs, it knows it's noticed. And we don't like that. We say, that's affectation, that's showing off, that's phony. What we want you to do is to dance as if you had no audience, not even yourself. Which of course puts the child in a double bind, because it says to the child, we require you to do something that will be acceptable only if you do it as if it wasn't required. We do that all the time to our children, to each other. You must love me. After all, you promised to do so when we got married, didn't you? So, this is the difficulty. But somehow, the very great artist, in the maturity of his life, somehow is able at least to give the impression that he does what he does without playing for the gallery, without self-consciousness. It seems perfectly natural. So how does he get there? There was a Taoist sage, later than Lao Tzu. His name was Liezi. We romanize that as L-I-E-H, Liezi. And he had a reputation for being able to ride on the wind. So light. Zhuangzi says in one place, it's easy enough to stand still. The difficulty is to walk without touching the ground. Because in the state of being in accord with the Tao, there is a certain feeling of weightlessness, parallel to the weightlessness that people feel when they get into outer space or when they go deep into the ocean. This is, of course, connected with the sensation that you're not carrying your body around. I described this morning the sensation that an expert driver has when he really is with it in a car, that the hill lifts him up and drops him down the other side, that he and the road are all one process. And that's equivalent to the sense of weightlessness. And so this is connected to, this is the inner meaning of Liezi riding on the wind. When Suzuki was asked, what is it like to have Satori, he said, it's just like ordinary everyday experience, except about 2 inches off the ground. A person who has Mushin, or no mind, or no heart in Chinese, is a very high order of person. It means that his psychic center doesn't get in its own way. It operates as if it wasn't there. Zhuangzi says that the highest form of man uses his Shin like a mirror. It grasps nothing, it refuses nothing, it receives but does not keep. And the poem says, when the geese fly over the water, and they are reflected in the water, that the geese do not intend to cast their reflection, and the water has no mind to retain their image. So, when the human being developed the power to be aware of himself, to know that he knows, in other words, when the cortex was formed over the original brain, he fell from grace. That was the fall of man. Because when he felt, he had the sensation of being in charge, of being in control of himself, and you can only have that sensation when you are aware of what you're doing, he got anxious. Am I aware enough of myself? Have I taken enough factors into consideration? Have I done all that should be done? And then he started trembling. This was the fall of man, of course. This is what is meant. The Lao Tzu says, when the great Tao lost, there came duty to man and right conduct. In other words, nobody talks about how you ought to behave unless things have gone radically wrong. There wouldn't be any conception of faithful ministers of the state unless there were a lot of lousy politicians around. No one would talk about filial piety unless there were wayward sons and daughters. So there is constantly in the tradition of Taoism the idea that all moral preaching is confusion. Your attempt to eliminate self is a positive manifestation of selfishness. You are like a person beating a drum in search of a fugitive. All talk about selfishness, all talk about success in becoming virtuous, or enlightened, or integrated, or non-neurotic, or self-actualized. Let's use all the terms that are being used. All this talk attests to the fact that it hasn't happened, and will in fact get in the way of its happening.
Yeah, you kicked ass. That was awesome. Really, really good. That spiral is fun, isn't it? What a visual. Yeah, you can do that. Like, I did that with my parachute and a glider, a sailplane that I had jumped out of. Okay. So you can mismatch different size aircraft in that spiral, and you just, one might be at a higher angle of attack than the other, but sure, you can do it with a tracker and a wingsuiter. That's so cool. You can do it with a wingsuiter and a canopy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nice, nailed it. Nice.
Everybody's looking good.
Come on, you got this. Finish it. Yay! There we go.
Alright, thank you.
Nice! Look at this, everybody all together. Right? The canopy course is working.
Yesterday your world came crashing around you, and the sky was crying. All your friends were dying. The world we know will never be the same again. I know no simple song can save you, but as these words are flowing, our inner strength is growing. My love through the song is all I have to give. And it's hard to feel the love. Yeah, it's hard to see the light shining from above. But if you fall down, there's no need to be scared. 'Cause if you reach out, well, you know we'll be there. 'Cause we're together, reaching up to the sky. Together, our resolve won't ever die. Now's the time to show the world we're survivors, and we can't be broken. Please accept this token of my belief that our ways will last unto the end. And we will rise up like a phoenix from the fire. We will rise up. Only God can fly much higher. And it'll rain down and wash these burns from our hands. And a river of peace will flow through our land. 'Cause we're together, reaching up to the sky. Together, our resolve won't ever die.
Yay! Woohoo!
Fun?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So basically, there's a feed. So it tells you all, sort of most recent events. You can communicate directly with me or any of the other folks and ask questions. So just like Facebook. And then down here, the session recordings here, dating back, 3 years, several times a week. And these are all an hour to an hour and a half at least. Most of them are an hour and a half. With the dates on there. And what we're working on now is also adding specifics of what we covered. And then the live events 3 times a week, like I said, and all those, it just got the link in here. Community conversations, improving your landings. These all have different, videos or articles or things like that. Mind game, lots and lots of virtual reality simulations showing, tweaks to the pattern. Based on winds, different drop zones, things like that, all kinds of good stuff. Ground launching, a bunch of the talking skydives are on here as well. You name it, man. You name it. Even I added a new category this week, the holistically healthy skydiver, talking about nutrition and exercise and, how to feed our brains, all kinds of different things that relate. It relates. Your performance is something that is going to vary based on how you feel. So I feel like approaching skydiving from a holistic perspective is essential. Somebody that has natural ability and understands the situation completely can be held back by their drinking problem. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? Or what, there's all these different things that we have to be looking at, you know, if we're all in, you know, I am, you know, everything I do is part of my skydiving training, everything. I think you'll love it. I think you'll love it, you know, and people use it sort of like a podcast or on a road trip or something. You put in your earbuds or put it on the car, you know, system and just listen to the conversations. And we get folks that are really new, and we got folks that are instructors. We got base jumpers, you know, wingsuit people. We got paraglider folks, because I like that stuff too. And we'll talk about whatever the community wants. And believe me, I don't have all the answers. And that's the good thing about community, is that we can find the answers together.
Right. Absolutely.